everyone, I'm Kirby.
And I'm Sarah.
And we're Los Angeles. Strivectin is a brand that's long been regarded as top-tier skincare by professionals of all kinds.
We personally love how all of Strivectin's products are backed by science.
If you're looking for an eye cream to help smooth the appearance of crow's feet and under-eye puffiness, Strivectin's new Intensive Eye Concentrate for Wrinkles Plus is proven to do so, starting in just 5 days. To learn more, visit Strivectin.com.
Does everyone have their cigars lit?
We do. We're lit.
Oh, it's about to get cold. Okay, let's get into it. Come on.
Let's get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Let's Get Into It. This is our 29th episode.
This is going to be one of my favorites because I have a smoke in one hand, a Modelo in the other, and Rio sitting across from you.
I like how you count down the episodes. This is episode 29. That's a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest. This is Mario Lopez in the house, man.
Woo!
Your podcast
AKA Rio.
Hey, you know what? You taught me that. I came in and you had your radio voice on. I thought, what the hell's a radio voice? You do, right?
My radio voice is my talking voice. You're crazy.
You're crazy, Holmes.
My radio voice is mine. Yes, it is. It's exactly it.
No, your radio
Sometimes
voice.
I got to go a little more hyped up if I'm selling.
No,
hey,
but
go visit my buddies over at Toyota Glendale. You know what I mean?
No, you're like this. Hey, this is Mario Lopez.
You're crazy.
Welcome to
Never
the
like
show.
Welcome, right?
Mario Lopez. Coming up next.
That's true, though.
You're crazy. I have to be hyped when I'm selling shit.
Listen, because I'll be somewhere and be like,
That
Mario,
sounds different.
that ain't Mario speaking, bro.
Hey.
Okay,
That's the way you get it. All right, get into it already.
Mario comes from Chula Vista.
Well.
He starts dancing at 3. He does television shows. He does series. He does movies. He's written books. He's hosted hit shows. You've won Emmys.
I can do lines.
Yeah,
You can do lines, mijo. You've been on Broadway. He goes against everything that people say, right? Which is stay in your lane, focus on one thing, try to make it in one area. I mean, this guy's
When's
he's
direct?
just done
You
it
got
all.
direct next. I want action.
You don't want to direct though, right?
I don't necessarily want to. I just, it's time consuming, and you really got to focus entirely just on that if you want to do a good job. And got myself a little spread thin.
You've been successful in so many different areas that it got to the point where everything's working, and you can't do it all. You can't do it all. You can't be in every place at the same time. You even have a radio show, and I didn't even mention that. And 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
Would it be great to have a clone of you?
Oh, I'd love to have a clone of me. That'd be awesome to be able to do even more things.
You're taking advantage of a lot of revenue streams, and you're creating from where you came from.
Here's my philosophy, bottom line. Because I did start off as a little kid, and it's very difficult to transition from like a kid actor to like an adult or in anything in the entertainment industry, right? You hear so many horror stories about guys getting into drugs or just not being able to handle it, or they get overwhelmed, or they just can't take any of the pressure, so whatever. So I've tried to be as diverse as possible. There are no rules, so whether that's hosting or acting or trying to produce or dancing or doing a plays or whatever the case may be, I've always figured the more diverse you are and the more feelers you have out there and opportunities you can sort of create for yourself, then the more chances you'll have to stay busy and work. So I think you have a mentality when you start working like, okay, this is going to be the last thing I'm doing, and everything could end tomorrow and it's rainy day, or you start resting on your laurels and start acting like a rapper and being flashy and like, okay, it's all, it's gravy from now on. So I'm the former. I've always like had a guarded optimism and always maintain that sort of hustle mode and think that tomorrow's always going to be the end of the day. I don't stress about it. I just kind of keeps me hungry and keeps me sharp.
Well, you're one of the hungriest people in this business, that's for sure. But let's go backwards for a second. Let's get into where it started, which I think a lot of people would be very interested in finding out. You're a young kid in Chula Vista. How is it starting to come to you that you want to be in entertainment?
I didn't want to be in entertainment. I just kind of fell into it because, my mom put me in a bunch of different things. So I was like, just to kind of keep me busy, right, and out of trouble. So I was like dance classes and wrestling and theater and karate. And every day I had like a little after school activity or class.
And she would take you to them.
She would take me, or my dad sometimes, but mainly my mom because my dad was working. And it worked. I never really got in any kind of trouble, right? Because I didn't have time for it.
Dude, that's brilliant.
So it, it works
Seriously.
out there. So, she was great parents, great mom. And then I was at a dance competition, and then there was a local talent agent there, and I approached her if I wanted to get into print work and stuff. And I read well as a kid. I didn't necessarily comprehend everything, but I read well. And I can articulate
you could do the lines.
as a little kid. Yeah. Really well. So, and I wasn't shy, and I liked talking a lot and being outgoing. So she said, "Hey, mijo, you want to try to do some local commercials or like these little ads?" They called them print work. I said, "Yeah, okay, whatever, Mom." I was little. I was like 9.
Yeah.
And the little local talent agent started sending me on stuff, and then I started booking things just locally. And then the talent agent moved to LA and kept me on, and then I started driving up to auditions. That's why I owe my mom and dad a lot, because they drive a lot. That's a long drive. Yeah. Especially from Chula Vista, that shit took like 2.5, 3 hours every day just for like sometimes a 2-minute audition.
That's a reoccurring theme, right? Parents are important. You grew up in East Los Angeles, Chula Vista, wherever. You want to keep your kids off the street. You want to keep your kids from causing trouble. Get them in some activities.
Yeah.
Make them work hard, right? I mean, look, dude, by the way, wrestling is not an easy sport. In fact, I think it's one of the hardest sports. I've never seen anyone train harder than a wrestler.
No, it is. I didn't realize it till later on, but that did a lot as far as, the attributes. And I think if you're young, because it teaches you how to be not just physically tough, but mentally tough, because you're out there by yourself. You learn how to deal with adversity. You get comfortable with sort of being uncomfortable, and you start figuring it out. So you start getting a lot of confidence that way.
Yeah.
So if you're confident there, you're confident when you walk in a room, you're confident when you're talking to people. So it has all the attributes that you need to be successful in life, I think, as a man. So I think it helped me a lot. So mom, dad, so exactly. So then once I fell into it, then I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And it beat getting a real job.
Yeah.
So I stuck with it.
Did AKA Pablo come first?
That was the first big thing.
It was,
I did like
right?
other commercials and other stuff.
You did local
I did
commercials?
local commercials, but then I did like other national commercials.
Yeah.
McDonald's and Pepsi, milk. So that, so I did those, and I think a little. Did I even do it? No, my AK Pablo might have been the very first thing. And that was a Norman Lear show. That shit was before its time, though. It was very stereotypical in all the wrong ways, but all the big Mexican family with Paul Rodriguez, right?
Right.
Had like 20 Mexicans living in a house. Chickens running around and shit.
Paul Rodriguez was a big star back then, right?
Yeah, he was a young, hot comic, and Norman Lear.
Norman Lear's a legend.
Legend. All the Family, Jefferson, Sanford Son, Maude. Goes on and on. So
you get cast in that.
I get cast in
and
that.
that's where it starts.
And it ran 13 episodes. But then it was canceled after because it was just, he used to say, "Is my Mexican Express?" And he brought out a knife. Like real serious. It was ahead of his time. It was too on that. Norman Lear doesn't like to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah, because he's like embarrassed. Like that one he fumbled.
Yeah.
Could have been cool. But I also thought like Raza takes himself too serious too. Like, hey dude, you should just be happy we're on TV.
That's right.
And support. Don't get all crazy.
You know what? It's kind of still like that.
Yeah. It's got a little better, but
be
low-key.
Yeah. Like they say, we got to sneak on.
Yes, you're right, dude. It's so true.
All right, cool. So you get into.
I like you in this host mode right here.
Oh yeah, you get into AK. You get into AK Pablo. You do Kids Incorporated.
That's the hardest job I ever had, still to this day.
Because why is that?
Because I had to learn 3 different dance numbers, and I was the youngest one. 3 dance numbers a week, and then I played the drums. And then we had a hard-ass choreographer named Doreen Guzman. To this day, she might have like emotionally scarred me.
To this day.
She was hardest. My dad, I'll never forget it. My mom wasn't there, and she was on me and yelling and getting on. My dad got so uncomfortable, he got up and walked out of the room. Oh, my mom was there. She would have went off on her.
Oh, really?
She was pissed. I'll never forget that. I was 10 years old, and it was so hard. But that made me, tough. It toughened me up and prepared me for all. Yeah. We did that for 3 seasons. I was on it for 3 seasons.
So it's hard work.
Wow. A lot, especially for a little kid. Memorize all that. 3 big numbers, dude, a week. That was a lot. And the drums and all that. Once in a while, they threw me lines.
Yeah.
I rapped.
Picture this as a dancer, young dancer. Like there's no script for dancing, right? You can't read it. You have to, someone has to do it, and then you have to do it.
Yeah.
And then you have to remember it, and then they got to move on. And that's hard, dude.
I can't do it.
No, it's a talent. It's a talent unto itself, for sure. So here, get a load of this. We might have crossed paths. When I was 19, 20, I did extras casting. When I was Gil de Montes. I did extras casting, and I did casting on Golden Girls. I did all the extras on Golden Girls. So, and you did an episode of Golden Girls.
They still play it to this day. It's actually pretty topical because I got deported.
That's right.
But they were doing it off of like Elian Gonzalez, like the Cuban kid that got deported, not like the whole situation now.
No,
but they still play it. They still play it right now. That was Whit Thomas production. Whit Thomas, those guys did a lot of big shows, which I can't.
I'll tell you right now, they did Empty Nest. They did
Golden
It's
Girls.
a Living, Golden Girls.
Obviously, yeah, It's a Living, all those. But I did like a couple pilots.
Beauty
with
and the Beast.
Yeah, I did one pilot called The Arena with Ted Bessel from That Girl. That was a great show about an arena, like the LA Sports Arena, and all the acts that came in, and I was the only kid that worked there. And, it didn't go, though. Yeah. But anyway, Whit and Thomas remembered me, so they brought me back for like stuff.
They ran the town for a little while.
Yeah, so that was cool.
And then you did one of my favorite movies you ever did, which was Colors.
Yeah, 1989. Not just because I was in it, but that movie holds up, dude. That movie was
it
tight. I was Felipe's friend. I was supposed to be Felipe, but I was too tall to play opposite Trinidad Silva. Who was the dude?
Yeah.
He was bad.
Great movie.
great actor right there. But it was a great movie. Dennis Hopper directed that. Sean Penn, Robert Duvall.
What was that like? That was
It
different
cool.
than
We
what
shot
you
it
had
right
done.
here in LA, and I remember we had real 18th Street members come. Some dudes tried to jack some of the equipment. I remember, but they were all real cool. We shot right here by Dodger Stadium. I remember we were overlooking right there at Chavez Ravine, and all the game they use real life dudes and. Yeah, Don Cheadle's, all kinds of people in that movie. Great movie.
It's a good movie.
But so I was too tall. I was supposed to be Felipe's friend, and then Dennis Hopper was cool. He liked me, so he said, "Hey, we're gonna find another little something for you." And I was like, "Yeah."
So you do Colors. It sounds like you're working pretty consistently as a kid, right?
I mean, I was busy enough.
Yeah, I mean,
I still went to Chula Vista High School. I went to regular high school and stuff. So I just come up.
So what would happen when you would do Kids Incorporated though? You had to be schooled there, didn't you?
Sometimes, most of the time with kid shows like that, they shot a lot of time in the summer, so they didn't have to mess with me.
Oh, wow, that's smart.
Well, then at that point, I thought, okay, now I'm just going to be on TV shows.
Oh, really? Is that what you thought? You thought, this is happening.
I'm going to be on TV.
It's my career.
But then I didn't know. But I didn't really trip. Like, if I was doing it cool, I wasn't, like, bugging my mom or dad. And they were cool. They weren't tripping on it. So I was staying busy with other pilots, guest spots, and I was pretty busy as a kid. And then I did Kids Incorporated shortly after. And I was on that for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then after that, I did other pilots, and I was pretty busy from like 10 to 15 till I did Saved by the Bell.
Right.
But it just kind of like one thing after another. I just was very fortunate that it kind of happened because all those roles, other than like certain guest spots, wasn't necessarily playing a Mexican kid. I just happened to be Mexican.
That's right.
And they kind of casted blindly, which I thought I was real lucky.
Right.
I got real lucky. Both Kids Incorporated, Saved by the Bell. I wasn't Slater. That wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to be like some Italian. He was supposed to be more like Vinnie Barbarino.
Right.
You know, and so the casting director and the producers were cool. That's a big thing because they were, especially in that time, they casted blindly. So it wasn't like they were looking for Mexican kids. You understand?
Yeah.
So I just kind of fell into it. So I got really lucky in that sense. The only Latinos I saw were like news anchormen.
To your credit, which you're not giving yourself the credit on this, you were talented and you were the right type for what you were doing and you were good at it, and that's why they were blind about that.
Well, thank you. I mean, like, look, you're limited, right? Like, if they're casting a family, and the family's like this Güero family, I'm obviously not going to get cast as, like, the son.
Right.
You know, if they're looking like John Ritter.
Unless you're adopted.
You know what I'm saying? Unless, so you're right there, you're already
right,
not in play or in the mix or even have a shot.
Right.
Because it is what it is, and that's just would be a tough buy.
So you were feeling pretty lucky. You were feeling pretty excited.
Well, yeah,
about
I mean,
your life,
I
right?
don't think I really gave it any like I really had the attitude when I was a kid. Like, you know, if I was doing it, cool. And if I had an audition, cool. I was a trip. Whatever. If I did it, I was just as happy if I wasn't doing that, like wrestling or doing whatever. I didn't really trip. I was having fun with it and I liked it, but I didn't start to consider like really having to focus on it until I got out of high school.
Right.
So I was like, okay. Then I got to get my shit together. Do I go to college?
Right.
Do I focus on this? That's when I had to like really like try to figure it out or give it a shot.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This is a big thing for kids that live in underprivileged areas and want to, get out and do great things with their lives. A lot of times people get on your case. Your friends get on your case about, oh, you're an actor or you're a dancer or, you did stuff where you performed with your friend at school on stage. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, you were doing.
Oh, they gave. Oh no, I got a hard time.
Did you get a hard time?
Oh yeah, like bullies and shit. Yeah, especially dancing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. It was like,
Acting.
but I didn't want to because I knew my mom because my mom just worked for the phone company, and my dad worked for the. Well, my dad did a lot of shit, but before that, he eventually ended up working for the city.
Yeah.
And then, that cost money, so I didn't want to let him down or let my mom down because she already paid for it.
Right.
And guys would be they
so you
try
don't
to break your balls, but then girls.
Loved it.
Like guys that can move, and the girls liked when I danced. I was like, okay, screw those guys. And then, then I started liking girls, and then then I liked it.
Right.
But I was real close to wanting to ask my mom to quit.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of the pressure?
No, I just didn't like theater or dance and all that.
Yeah.
Guys give you a hard time, carilla and stuff, especially raza and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but like I said, I didn't want to let her down. And then I started liking girls, and that changed everything.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of girls in those classes.
Yeah.
And then they liked guys.
And they're like, I kind of like this.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, shit, I'm
so
gonna stick
you
with
didn't
this.
get into blows.
And then it helped me in wrestling.
You didn't get into blows about that.
I never really got into blows. Other guys that would be messing with you later on, just in general because they're dicks.
Right.
But it wasn't specifically that. But I did get teased or my balls broke.
Yeah.
And
that's hard.
It's just a weird age to be.
It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, you're dealing with all that stuff.
That kind of arts.
Yeah. Well, especially dude in fucking Chula Vista. So it's not like you're in. It's not like you're in the heart of L.A. or New York City or something where it's
and
very.
Mario didn't hold back, bro. I mean, you've seen some of the tapes, right? You've seen like the.
He commits.
Yeah, I mean, he's dancing like,
He's got it, dude.
You got to go for it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, it's part of why you're successful because you never hold back. Look, part of our business, let's not kid ourselves, is about giving it all you got.
You have to. You have one shot.
I watched the Patrick Swayze documentary the other night, and it was funny because they were talking about Roadhouse.
Yeah, him too, though. He got. Yeah. I actually had a conversation with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
he was the same place, same thing.
He used to get teased, and then later on he ended up sticking with it. His mom was a teacher, though.
Yeah.
So it was.
But he did Roadhouse, and everyone around Roadhouse was saying, Roadhouse was a shit show. It was a bad script, but he was so committed to it.
Yeah. And he ended up being like the tough guy. Remember in Outsiders? He was Daryl. He's a tough guy. He ended up being the tough guy.
Yeah. He ended up being a tough guy. He ended up, but they would say he would change the trajectory of a movie simply by his commitment to his character. It would change everything. You'd be like, oh my God, this is it's an amazing piece of work. And I think you do that too. I think you did that too with a lot of the stuff that you did. All right, so Saved by the Bell, dude. Saved by the Bell went on for a long time.
I got Saved by the Bell when I was 15.
Damn,
same age as some of the kids that you've cast on
Ashley Garcia.
The expanding universe of Ashley Garcia.
That's why I think it worked initially. It was Saturday morning, and our producer was like born again Christian, so that's why it was so vanilla, so targeted towards kids. Is that we were actually kids playing teenagers because before that, you usually had older people. Remember in Grease, Libby Newton-John was 32 playing a 16-year-old. They were, and kind of kids can tell, but we were actually kids playing kids.
Yeah.
So I think that worked, and then it was a pretty diverse looking group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that helped. And then it was sort of like escapism, very vanilla kind of, I think that shit was going to be on 30 years later.
Dude, lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And by the way, congratulations, you're doing a reboot.
Now we're doing the reboot, exactly. So we'll see
Dude,
what that looks like.
It just goes on and on with this guy.
Restaurants and all that. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, so that was cool.
So, but you did over 100 episodes combined, with all the different versions of it. You did over 100 episodes.
I think so. We did, 80, 90 the original.
And
with college years. And
how was that experience? Was that a lot of fun?
It was fun.
Yeah.
I did it all. I was going to school. I had to miss the first 2 months of fall.
Yeah.
Month and a half. And then Mark Paul got hurt my senior year, which screwed up my wrestling in my senior year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't train. I just went to tournaments because I had to come up here, which sucked.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I regret. But, it was fun. I had a good time. And it was, thank God social media wasn't around.
Right. You were making some scratch. You were putting some money away.
Well, but don't get it twisted. It's not like friends' money. We're making, $1,500, which is not bad for a 15-year-old kid, but it's not.
It's not
hundreds of thousands
of
dollars.
By the way, with that money, that's money I had to use too to come get an apartment.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying? Because remember, we were living in San Diego, so we had to use because my parents couldn't afford it. So I had to use that money. So I was almost kind of wash a little bit more, just putting a little bit away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't, everybody thinks if that shit was prime time, then I'd be making a lot. But I wasn't really making anything. We went up a little bit every year, but, we used that money to get an apartment. I used to live at Holiday Inn
Yeah.
Well, now it's Days Inn, but that's where the dude killed himself.
Right,
The
the
director.
extended stay place. Yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, so that's I used to stay there.
Wow.
You can see it from right here,
yeah,
from
you
your
can see it
balcony.
from from my dad.
You were here in L.A., you were being visible, people were getting to know you, and that kind of led you to other things after that was over.
Well, yeah, and it was popular for Saturday morning, but it didn't really start getting real popular until it went into syndication.
Dude, everyone knows it now, even
Now
the
that's
kids that
when-
are on your show. My kids know it, yeah.
That's when it went into syndication. Then it got more popular. Still didn't get more money, by the way.
Oh, you
I got
didn't?
checks that were less than the postage. Yeah, dude, that's why fucking Screech is struggling. Screech was on that shit for over 10 years, and he did the new class, and then he did like, I don't know how many installments. He did like 15 seasons.
Damn.
You know, and that fool's broke living in Wisconsin. And I'm not talking out of pocket. He admits it, and he's saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that goes to show we weren't making. I didn't start making money until after.
Well, look, the
know?
other thing to realize about this business is that it's not a business where you're just going to go get rich every time you make a deal. You know, it is sort of
No, only your real, like, it just like anything, your real top percenters, excuse me, are the ones that are.
But Brad Pitt, when he was on Thelma and Louise, wasn't making $1 million.
No,
you know?
only your top movie stars, or you get on a hit primetime show. Then that's different. You get on a primetime show that has a run like the people on The Big Bang and stuff like. Then you're set. Then you're set. But those are like, you might as well go play the lottery.
Right.
Yeah. Your odds are just as strong right there.
And then the business is changing so much that those deals aren't really existing.
Those deals aren't even going anymore. And now with the streamers and all that, you can't. Those models aren't around anymore.
You went from being an actor to getting into hosting. And I feel like we knew each other when it was starting to happen.
Well, what year we met with Eastside? That was a little independent film we did.
We met in 98. I'm really proud of it, too, by the way.
Yeah, 98?
In 98.
Is that when we met in 98? Know you that long, fool?
Yeah, 98.
What is that, 2008? What was that, 20 years?
21 years.
21 years?
Damn.
Fuck, that's a long time.
Yeah, do you know how we met? We met in the bathroom.
No, didn't I audition for you?
You were going to read, but I went to the head because I had to go to the restroom in between reads, and you were in there, and I'll never forget it because you had like a black leather jacket on, like Goodfellas.
It was like a Bronx Tale one.
We introduced ourselves, but we had like a pretty long conversation on the way back to the office, and I remember connecting with you about our upbringing, and anyway, we had a lot of fun doing it. You know, that's where "you're being a dick" right now came from.
We use that a lot here. Don't be a dick, Robert. So we use it all the time.
I feel like there was something about hosting that you really, really liked, and
well, it was tough. That it was a tough transition. I think leaving after Saved by the Bell, right? Because you get sort of typecast and pigeonholed into a certain look. They see you a certain way,
right.
And then you're at a weird age, right? Because you're not really a man, an adult after you're out of high school, but you're not young enough to really kind of do the high school thing anymore. I didn't look it anymore, so it's that weird sort of window in your life, that time period. So it was quiet for like a while.
Yeah.
And then Linda Mancuso was a dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
Back in
Rest
the day.
in peace.
Rest in peace. Who worked at NBC. There was a show called Name Your Adventure, where you take these kids on different adventures that they wanted to go on. Everything from like interviewing the president to shark diving, rock climbing, all this stuff all over. One of my favorite gigs still. And she knew I liked like hosting, in the sense that I've never done it, not only on TV, I mean like just hosting a party or having my friends over, just entertaining. Because I like people. I like entertaining. I like
doing a podcast.
You know what I mean?
And by the way, we're here in Glendale at Casa Lopez doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So
on location.
So she said, you know what, would you want to? I think you'd be a great host at this. So she gave me an opportunity. What do I got to do? She said, just make sure these people are having a good time, entertain them. And it was an SEC show, so I had to incorporate like certain educational elements. So we'd be climbing the rock. And did you know this mountain has after elevation?
Every
5,000
network
feet
has
and
to do that.
You know what I mean? So once in a while. So then we did that. So I did that. So I ended up doing that show.
Right.
And I did that for 3 years. And at that point, then I really fell in love with hosting.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow, I can get paid to just be myself.
Right.
And just make sure people have a good time and to listen to stories and to hang out and talk. I was like, well, that's what I want to do.
Right.
So it was fun. That's what came easiest, and that's what was fun.
Right.
And I like to, laugh, have a good time.
Right.
Break people's balls and just, you know what I mean? And so, and I think that's what a host is. You got to make sure you like people and you like to entertain.
And
like
the money was good.
Well, yeah, it was a real job. So
right.
yeah, the money's good. And then, and it's a whole nother skill set, really.
Yeah.
A lot of great actors can't be hosts.
No way.
You know what I mean? And vice versa. Or they're not comfortable without a script.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And so I like just talking, and I like just hanging out with people.
You fly off the cuff so much, and it's so great.
Fly off the
dude.
cuff,
Yeah.
you just, so that from there I fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, okay, this is another sort of avenue.
This is a gig, yeah.
Because I did other stuff, like we did the Greg Louganis. I was still doing like acting.
You were still
and stuff.
acting.
That should have popped. My only regret is I thought I did a pretty good job in that Greg Louganis.
You were
film.
amazing,
and a
in
lot
it.
of people that should have.
There was a lot of buzz around the Greg Louganis story.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, dude, and then himself, he really liked it, Greg, and that one should have had created. I was hoping it created a little bit more opportunities, which was it did this one. I'll tell you the story. I don't think I've ever said the story. That Chuck Norris had a show called Walker, Texas Ranger.
Yeah, great show.
That was very popular. There was a spinoff called Sons of Thunder that they were doing, and we had to play opposite Chuck in the couple episodes doing a spinoff. So I went and I tested, and they said, "Hey, when you read with Chuck, make sure you don't wear high shoes or wear real low shoes." I'm like, "Why?" And they go, "He doesn't want anybody taller than him." So it was really cold as ice. So I went in there. I think I had sneakers on or whatever. And I was a little too tall for Chuck. He wanted everybody cold as ice, dude, and I didn't get that. That show ended up not going.
Right.
But still, that's one of my biggest regrets.
That's
I wish that would have
disappointing.
went. So yeah, that was the only thing that kind of popped and opportunity that really came out of the Greg Louganis. Other than that, it didn't.
Yeah.
Then I did Pacific Blue.
Pacific Blue was
Well, that was on
a
the
great
same
show.
network, so that ended up working out. And I ended up doing that for 3 seasons.
Right.
It incorporated 3 seasons. Stayed with about 5. Pacific Blue another 3 seasons. The other half 2 seasons. Right. So Pacific Blue, for those not familiar, we were cops on bikes, which really exists.
True.
Really exists.
Yeah, they do. Cops everywhere.
That shit was
Cops on
popular.
everything.
Yeah. No, but we were in Santa Monica, Venice area, and those dudes really exist. And it was a popular show, believe it or not, but especially overseas, like in France and all that.
And you met one of your good friends on that show,
buddies,
right?
Jeff Stearns and I were friends prior to Pacific Blue.
Oh, really?
That was just coincidence. Yeah, because the girl I was seeing at the time, Natalia, her best friend was this girl named Danielle Harris, and she was going out with Stearns.
I know Danielle Harris. I used her on a movie.
There you go.
Poor White Trash. Yeah. I love
Okay.
her. She's-
So that's how I knew Stearns.
Yeah.
So I knew Stearns because Natalia and Danielle were friends.
Oh.
And their girlfriends,
Of
friends, you
course.
end up hanging out, right? So you double date and stuff.
Yeah.
So we hung out like that. And then, just coincidentally, he auditioned for Pacific Blue and I did, and we both got it.
That's awesome.
And then we ended up, you know what I mean? We were
3
buddies.
years
and then-
hanging out. That's
Yeah, we were
fun.
buddies before, hanging out with the girls, and then we were,
Yeah.
Then we hung out for another 3 years.
That's tight.
Our ass was so lazy too, dude. Well, not lazy, but we lived in the valley, and we didn't want to drive all the way to the beach. Because that shit was taking 2 hours a day in the traffic, because we had to go all the way to Venice, so we ended up getting an apartment together over there.
Nice.
While paying for an apartment here, and then we ended up it was 4 hours each way.
Yeah. It's a pain.
In the morning, it was a pain in the ass. So we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was eating. That was my heaviest.
I'll bet
the
you
catering
did.
there.
Yeah.
Stay away from the crafty, man.
Is there a reboot coming to that possibly?
I don't know, man.
Hey,
We're
you
trying
know
to
what?
explore
That'd be
it.
dope.
That'd be
dope.
dope, but he
There you
doesn't have time to do it. When would he
Yeah,
do
but
it?
dude,
It never
just to
happened.
produce it. Just
Oh,
to
just produce it. That's
so
different,
that's fun. So yeah, we remain friends, and Shayna Mokler,
Yeah.
De La Hoya's ex, and who was she worked with us on that. She was real cool. So yeah, so then I did that.
You did the Greg Louganis. You did Pacific Blue. You had already gotten a taste of the hosting,
I did. So
so you're feeling that.
I liked it, but there wasn't that many opportunities for young kids or
Right.
guy in his 20s, early 20s to be
Yeah.
hosting, right? Because
Right.
most of your hosts were Wink Martindale,
True.
Chuck Woolery, or guys like that
Right.
age, right? Dick Clark. They were still young people. How many did you see? Because MTV
Not a
really
lot.
didn't have. It was all out of New York at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it didn't really have anything. It was just Carson Daly did TRL, but that was even a little bit later. So there just wasn't that many opportunities. So I would have been all over them, but they just weren't there.
Right.
I never spent a lot of money. I never lived beyond my means.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't going to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're clear. We're clear on that.
Yeah.
Stupid.
No, you know what I mean? I was never flashy or never had to have the latest this. or
You
latest
drove your
that.
same Mustang.
Yeah, dude, I had the Mustang for the same time. Then
Same
I had a
year.
Toyota Land Cruiser for
for
the same.
years.
It didn't I looked at it hey, you know what? That didn't help me. I was still pulling.
Right.
So whatever. It didn't happen.
my man.
It didn't, I didn't need it. You know what I mean?
That's
I didn't need to be flossy or anything.
Right.
Hey, when you got game, you got game.
It
Yeah,
just
yeah.
didn't. It didn't put in effect. So I didn't. So I was I was just worried about. I'd always do the math in my head. Okay, I had enough for this month. I make sure I get the rents and all that, right?
Yeah.
Because again, I was doing probably better than your average 20-year-old kid, whatever. But far from set.
But you had always invested your money. You had always set aside money to have some investment in real estate. And
I didn't start doing
that
that until I was in my early 20s.
Oh, really? Well, wait.
Yeah, because I didn't really make any. Up until I was a kid, remember all that money? I put a little bit away, but I hadn't have enough to like buy a house. Until I was like in my early 20s, I'd use that money to live out here.
Right.
Because I lived in Chula Vista.
You had a house here in Glendale when I met you in 98.
Yeah, 98.
But I guess you were 28 or something.
Yeah, dude, that's like late. I was late. Like 98, I had already done. No, not the one in Burbank and the Greyhound, right?
Yeah.
That was my first house I bought.
Yeah.
When I knew that was my first place. I still have it. Sunset Canyon.
What, you still have it?
Still have it.
Wow.
We shot in there.
Yeah.
We shot
Sunset
a scene
Canyon.
in there, yeah.
I didn't. Did we shoot a scene in there?
We shot a scene in a small house here.
That was it, Sunset Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still had that.
It's a
That was the
teeny-
first
it was
one
a
I bought.
teeny
I bought it in 94, 95. One of those, 94, 95. But that was, 94, 95, no more later than 95.
Yeah.
And that was the very first one.
So
here.
Yeah.
I got a little one in Chula Vista.
Right.
I remember prior, but, dude, back then, like, I remember we could buy for like $100,000.
Damn.
You know, you put 10% down, 20% down, whatever. you know what I mean?
And then collect some rents.
Yeah, but now that shit's worth a lot more. You know what I mean? From way back then. But
Yeah.
that was all my mom. And so, but like a little, I think I put like $20,000 down
No,
or something. You know what I mean?
You were
So
always
it's just
smart.
like little, but I didn't have like, you know what I mean? I barely I put a little bit away and I had it. That was it. I had like one little house in Chula Vista and I got one little house right here in Burbank.
And
that was it.
Yeah.
And I still had to figure out what the fuck I was going to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was far from set.
And let's be clear, right? Everyone always thinks you're seeing a celebrity, you're seeing someone doing their workout here in the entertainment world, and you think that they've always been killing it.
Right.
And the truth of that is that you got to be careful, you got to be frugal, and you've got to handle your business.
Well, you're smart because everything's unpredictable.
You got to secure that next job.
Well, everything's a temp job here, right? Yeah. Nothing's guaranteed. You don't know if you're going to get canceled. You don't know if you're going to get hired again. You don't know what's going to happen. So, like I said, I've always had guarded optimism and try to be smart about it and live even below my means, not even within, just to be a little more comfortable.
Well, think about the cars.
Oh, yeah, my 94 Mustang. That's what you're talking about.
Mustang,
I kept that one forever, dude. I
You
still have it.
Yeah.
I still have it. Yeah, dude.
Where's
the
it?
Cobra. It's down. My dad has it.
It's beautiful.
Dude, that thing only has like 65,000 miles.
Damn.
Really? Original miles?
Yeah, original miles.
Okay.
It's badass.
You make money off that now.
Yeah, and my dad wants it now. So my dad gave it to my dad now. But yeah.
You won't see it again. No. So where did
Let me see that later.
So you meet Dick Clark. Does Dick Clark change your life at all?
Yeah, he does. So he's the one that really changed my life. So then I did that show, The Other Half. This was my big break. This kind of changed everything. So I did this show. NBC was doing its syndication. It was called The Other Half. It was a male view.
And we had just done East Side, by the way. You had finished
just
East
done
Side, and then you got
This is funny. I don't know if you know the story. They did like a big casting search, right? So they do the male view. NBC's doing it. Dick Clark is doing like the Barbara Walters role, right? Danny Bonaducci, who's this madre, like he's been, former child or whatever, but then he's resurged as he's a big time radio DJ.
Right.
Syndicated everywhere, and he's doing really well. And he's a really funny, sharp guy.
Right.
But he parties a lot, crazy. And then we had Dr. Jan Adams.
That's right, Dr. Jan, who got in trouble.
Well, later on, he was a Harvard graduate, really successful plastic surgeon. He's the one that was responsible when Kanye West's mom died, right? But he was cool. Yeah. And then they had to have the young single guy, right? I didn't audition the first time. Who got that part? You'll never believe it. Steve Santagati. Yeah. Steve Santagati got it. Then they shot the pilot. They tested it. Women hated him.
Right.
Yeah, shocking.
Women didn't like him. They didn't like him, and he was too polarizing. And they had to fire him, and they had to hire someone else. So then they had a big search, and that's when I got the chance to audition.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I got auditioned. And then I didn't even know Santagati then. I didn't meet him until years later.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah,
oh, that's good. That's
later.
actually
turned
good.
out to be a friend of mine, but then I didn't meet him until years later. And so then I auditioned for that, and I happened to get that.
Yeah.
That was great. And that was like a lot of, I remember I went like 5 times.
Right.
Because you go for chemistry reads and, they give you different scenarios and you test. But I was always pretty good at being quick on my feet. So
was it fun working with Dick?
So, Dick Clark's like obviously a legend, right? Icon. So I get this, and immediately we got along, hit it off, and he befriended me. I was always very polite and respectful, and I love music, and And he loved that I used to ask all the questions and knew all the history. And he'd tell you stories about like Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson because he didn't want
all of them. Yeah,
Elvis, nicest guy in the world, dumb as a rock, wouldn't hesitate to buy you a Cadillac though, nicest guy. The Beatles, those guys, so he'd just tell you all kinds of stuff. So I got really close with him right away. We were a product of unfortunate timing. We debuted the day before 9/11. Oh. Now we debuted on Monday. Really great. Tuesday was a Tuesday. 9/11 happened. And then obviously preempted, and then the fucking world changed in 2 weeks, and it was just really, you don't want to launch on 9/11.
Yeah.
So that was a product of unfortunate timing. We ended up still going 2 years, and the ratings weren't even that bad, but they were actually good.
Yeah.
But they split it. It was NBC split it with another company, and just financially it didn't. And Dick was involved. So they added too many for what it was. At the time now, if we would have had those ratings, we'd probably still be on the air.
Right.
But there was too many hands in that pot, so then that show ended. But it changed in this sense. Like Dick really took me under his wing, and so I'd go over his house. He has this amazing spread, dude, in Malibu. Dude, it was just unbelievable. And he actually had his funeral services there when I got there, and his wife, Carrie. But he, like Dick... Always, he goes, so he started telling me, he goes, Mario, your future is in hosting, and you got to look at yourself as a brand and as sort of an entity and just as a business, not just as a one-trick pony and being an actor. You're an actor, you're at the mercy of writers or directors or in control. You're a host, then you're a personality, then you become a brand, then you can look at yourself and market yourself forever, and you can be here because he'd been around for decades. So I was like, wow, so he really opened my eyes.
And you took it to heart.
And I took it to heart. Man. Solid advice. So he changed my life. So I was like, okay, I want to be the Latino Dick Clark.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I said. So
Santagati wasn't thinking that way. That's for sure.
No. So then that changed, and then I wanted to put more energy towards that. And then he ended up dying. And so, but I stayed real close with him until, he passed. But he had a van, right? Like an old school, like the Scooby-Doo vans.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this. He had a desk bolted down in the van. And he would drive and do work on his desk from Malibu all the way in his offices in Burbank.
That's commitment.
And you'd get there, and his driver would open the thing, and he'd still be on his desk, and he'd come out.
Wow. I didn't know that story about Dick Clark, but I'll tell you what, you could see the influence in your life from him.
Dude, and he bought a lot of real estate. He owned like all the Krispy Kremes in the UK, like crazy shit. Like you wouldn't think, like, you know what I mean? And so him and Merv Griffin were incredibly smart.
Dude, Merv Griffin was my favorite. I watched all those guys. I mean, I'm older, but I used to watch him and Johnny Carson. Dude, they were the masters.
Yeah, but they're also great businessmen.
Yeah, amazing businessmen.
Merv Griffin owned like Beverly Hills Hotel and all of Palm Desert, pretty much.
I think he owned some of the game shows, some of the big game shows.
Yeah, Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, Jeopardy.
That was him.
It's still on.
So I know. So he's still making. So then after that, I decided, okay, I want to try to still act and still do everything else, but really kind of try to put the energy towards that.
When that ended,
I was sad.
Yeah, I bet you were.
What was like, damn.
What was your next step at that point?
It's always back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
What happened after the other half? God, that's a good question.
Pets Dizzy.
No, so it was a bit of a lull. And then, dude, I didn't. God. Well, off the top of my head, I did end up doing a show for Animal Planet, which doesn't seem as much of a lateral move.
Right.
But I wanted to continue to host. And it was my own show where I got to showcase, so I wanted just to be, at my point, I just want to be on TV.
Right.
I don't care what it is, what I'm doing, I just wanted to kind of be on TV and continue to do it. So I got to do that. How many seasons did you do? Oh, no, because you did one without you. I didn't do
the beginning ones.
So I did one without you, then you did two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3. Most of my shows have gone at least 3 seasons, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty, that's amazing. So,
yeah, so then I did Pet Star, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, some might look as like a step backwards and stuff, but I didn't. I looked at it like it was a whole other audience. It was great, and people still loved it. People still really liked it.
Yeah,
and it was still on. I'm looking to reboot that now.
Oh, are you looking to reboot that?
Yeah,
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
So then after Pet Star, the opportunity came up. ESPN was doing a show. Yeah. Mark Shapiro had just gotten hired over there, and he wanted to blend the two worlds of entertainment. And he came up with a concept which is really smart called ESPN Hollywood, and how sports and entertainment sort of merge.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and it was like a neat Entertainment Tonight, but for sports and entertainment.
Right.
I did a big audition process for that, and I ended up getting that.
Right.
So they wanted an athlete, but those athletes couldn't read and be correct. Right. It's a whole other thing to read the prompter and the whole thing. Then I started getting known as a host, right? We only did how many? ESPN 2, right?
No, we only did one, dude.
We didn't do two?
No, we didn't. And I remember we had a conversation because I worked
that's
on
right.
it with
That's
him,
right. We
and
did
he was
one.
like,
Because Mark
he told me to buy a house. He said, "Tony, buy a house." I was like,
No,
this is going to run.
I told you.
No,
that
you told me that on there because you go, dude, nobody.
No, you're
ESPN
stupid.
doesn't cancel. He goes, think about it.
He's crazy.
Think about. No, I'm telling you.
No, you're crazy.
And I got engaged.
Because,
and I did all kinds of crazy shit.
No,
and he calls me. He goes, dude, I can't fucking believe this.
No. But let me tell you why. So Mark Shapiro, and it would have stayed on forever because he was running the network, and that was his baby, and they take care of their own products. Mark Shapiro, the guy that was there, Dan Snyder, who owns the Redskins, multi-billionaire, made him like this ridiculous offer to come run his theme parks because he also owns like Magic Mountain and all that shit, and he made him like. A ridiculous offer, double the salary or something, to leave ESPN to go run that. So he bounced.
Yeah.
And then the new guy, John Skipper, came in. And, when you got a new guy there, they want their own new shit. They get rid of the old system. So then he canceled. He's right. He's canceled this. So then I played Dr. Ramirez on Bold and the Beautiful.
And how was that?
Well, see, dude, like I'd gone back and now I'm back in acting. And I had never done that. I have a whole new respect I had a whole new respect at the time for.
Right.
Dude, you had to memorize pages of dialogue. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it was impressive. Like the girls crying a dime. And it was cool. I got to play a doctor.
Yeah.
Positive role model, but I'd never done that. And it was cool. And it was a
Gynecologist,
half hour. It was a half hour. Not a
gynecologist.
I was treating like a cancer patient or whatever that is. It's a half hour soap opera too.
Damn.
Half hour.
Yeah.
It's the only one, but it was the most popular one in the world.
And that was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's fun though. So I've done all kinds of different shit.
Yeah.
Yes, and that was fun. And but a lot of work. We did that at CBS TV City, and then I don't know if they were going to renew my contract the second year, just because of storylines. They didn't know they had to service a lot of. They had to service a lot of actors, and then I remember getting Showman. That's the one thing he didn't know. He didn't want me to do Dancing with the Stars. My mom kept wanting me to do it. It was on one season.
The ESPN all these people didn't want you to do it either.
Yeah, they didn't want me to do it. Then my mom didn't want me to do it. I was like,
no, your mom wanted you to do it.
My mom wanted me to do it, but they didn't want me to. So I said no twice to 2 seasons. Finally, in the 3rd season, they asked me again. And
did Dancing with the Stars change everything?
Yes.
Change your life? What happened?
Yes.
How did that go down?
What happened was I got to be in front of 30 million people. It was the highest rated thing, and I went far. Yeah. And I ended up doing real well.
You came in second. You really won it. Let's not kid ourselves. You actually won it.
Yeah,
I
just needed a couple Super Bowl.
The fix was on.
Yeah, Emmett Smith. Come on. So and then the irony is they had.
You guys should have a dance off now. See what's up.
They had the 100 episodes, the first 100 episodes, and the people got the vote for the best answer.
Yeah.
And they voted me number 1 on that one. So how am I going to wear that shit? But I didn't win my season.
I wonder where did he come in that
the
first
fix.
100?
He wasn't even in the top.
See?
I don't even
Wow.
know. He might have been in
Fix.
the top 10, but
Fix was it.
So, but that changed everything. So then I got to really be exposed to as an adult now. So that on a grand scale, right? 30 million people get to see you.
Yeah.
And then that started changing, and then I started getting a little busy. It wasn't as Then I did my first Christmas movie. Ended up being the highest rated Holiday in Handcuffs, and they played every day every year with Melissa Joan Hart. And then from that, so that changed everything, and I'm so glad I owe my mom that. So I'm glad I did that.
Thanks, Mama Lopez.
Yeah. So from Dancing with the Stars, then Extra, the entertainment news show.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I kind of had a little sigh of relief, and I didn't have to struggle as much after that.
Yeah, so things started popping after Dancing with the Stars. Shoot.
That's when it really popped. But I wouldn't have been exposed to even that possibility of Extra had I not done the other half. You understand? And I did that, 11 years? 12 years?
Yeah.
11 years.
11 years.
11 years, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You know,
and then I did that 11 years, and now from then I went to NBC, and I got that opportunity. But then radio resurfaced. 5 years into Extra Radio presented itself. Somebody from iHeart came, and it wasn't a live show, but it was a syndicated show.
Right.
And I was taking over a syndicated show, and then we grew, and now we're in 100 markets, and now it's fun.
Nationally syndicated all over the United States.
Yeah. So now I do that, and I do the NBC gig, and
you know
we
what?
started getting into producing, so I couldn't be happier. Oh fuck! I'm burying the headline.
What's that? No, hang on. We're gonna get to it. Hang on.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
Hang on.
What am I gonna say?
Whatever you're gonna say. Wait up for a second. What was really cool? I know.
I always go to a mile a minute.
No, here we go. What's really interesting about how you work when it comes to the journalism is you change a lot of the stuff that's written. I've noticed. They'll come to you with your script. You get there early, and you start working on how you would say something. And I think part of the reason you're so successful is because people watching you and all of your fans, when they hear you say whatever you're reading as yourself. You're reading and giving it to them the way you would feed them the information. And I think that's part of the value of what you bring to these big shows. And it's part of the reason that they have won Emmys and the ratings have gone up, and why you continue to succeed, and why you're now on, Access Hollywood, which is tremendous. So congratulations on all of that, dude.
Well, thank you. I mean, I always try to personalize it and make it as authentic and genuine as possible, right? Because it's me at the end of the day that's talking, and I want to be myself. And then I always want to be very conversational, and
right.
And I don't want to come from like a salacious point or just try to grab a headline or some sort of sound bite where it's clickbait.
Yes,
if you end up being cool with them, they end up relaxing, end up divulging what they want to anyway.
Right. Right.
And then I want to, and because I'm an actor too, then they kind of feel comfortable and they let their guard down, and most of the time they're all pretty cool. And I'm like an entertainment fan, right?
Yeah.
I love movies. I love TV. I love music.
Yeah.
So I get excited still, even all these years later, still talking to all those people.
So, guys, like movies and television, all that stuff, they all need music. Without music, there's nothing, right, Dave?
That's right.
So I want to talk about extrememusic.com, because there is a composer. And Dave, you know a little bit more about Extreme Music. I mean, the partners with Russell Emanuel are pretty big, right? I mean, who is it?
Well, the big one is Hans Zimmer.
Right.
You can't overlook Hans Zimmer. He's one of the biggest composers.
Talking about one of the best composers of all time. And they've got a company that's an offset, but still connected to Extreme Music, that does The Simpsons and Planet Earth, which I think they were nominated or won an Emmy. I was talking to Russell, and we were talking about this composer, and his name is Blues Saraceno. This guy wrote a song that not only was on SOA, but was on Reese's Peanut Butter Cup commercial, a Carl's Jr. commercial. So I'm going to let you listen and sample this track for just a moment, and then I'll get to you with how much money this track has made. I mean, that's pretty. That's.
You know what? I like that.
Yeah, it's a deep thinking song with a deep guitar. It's very pensive. You can be.
I can see that in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I can see on SOA, because I remember the song. Like, you're gonna kill someone. Someone's gonna die that night. This composer is making above 7 figures with this one song.
Wow,
that's pretty amazing.
That's huge.
This song was written for Extreme Music, and SOA and Reese's and Carl's Jr. went to the extrememusic.com site, found it, put it in their show, and now this guy's making over 7 figures.
Wow.
A lot of composers have now dedicated their time to writing for extrememusic.com. So if you're a filmmaker, if you're making commercials, if you're doing industrials, go to extrememusic.com. You can put a song that's on SOA, on a Carl's Jr. commercial, on a Reese's Peanut Butter commercial in your project, and probably for a reasonable amount of money. So I'd check them out. I'm a big fan of theirs. I'm planning on using them on everything I do, and I just wanted to give them a little love, because I've been talking about this guy for a couple of podcasts now, and you guys have to check him out. His name is Blues Saraceno. So the big change in your life came when you went to Broadway, which is, I can't believe we're talking about all of these things you've done, dude. And then we have to talk about Broadway, which is, the holy grail.
So that was like a bucket list thing.
Yeah, right?
That I always wanted to do. And a couple opportunities that presented itself, and then I just wasn't able to do it before because of timing. And this time it was.
You were nervous.
A little bit, because Broadway, it's 8 shows a week. You're out there, and
You had an opportunity there. I remember you told me, hey, I could either go to the Bermuda and do this like film about like this shark and blah, 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 or do Broadway.
Sounds fun.
And I was like, can I go with you to Bermuda? You're like, well, yeah, I could go to Bermuda. Let's do the movie about the fucking
Did you say that?
Yeah, of course. What do you think?
I did have it. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah.
It was like some silly movie, like a killer shark who's gonna
Terrific. That's a great one. But Broadway got chosen.
But that was Well, no, and then part of the reason too. At that time, a girl I was seeing was living in New York, right? And then we ended up breaking up. But I was already committed to doing Broadway. So I was like, well, I mean, that helped influence.
So you went there clean single? You went there clean
Oh, yeah. I went there
unattached.
Clean single.
Wow.
I went there clean single. But originally part of the incentive was because the chick I was seeing was there. And I was hanging out with her and the family a little bit. But we broke up prior, like a month and a half prior. But I was already committed. And I was like, and it was something I wanted to do anyway. But I was like, all right, I'll have fun. I'll go. And I had friends already that lived in New York.
Yeah.
So I was there for 6 months. The first 3 months, dude, I had a blast. Perroville right there.
Yeah.
There's no better place to be young and single the New York City.
Right.
And I was living right in Manhattan.
And you're on Broadway.
Dude. Then after, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then, it was great. So first 3 months were great. And then after that, I got a little tired, a little redundant. Then I forgot one of the main ones, dude. Hosting things. And you were working with me on that too. This fool, I started hooking him up, like 15 years ago already now.
Is it that long?
ABDC.
Oh, yeah.
ABDC.
ABDC, America's Best Dance Crew. It was an MTV show. It was a top show on MTV.
That's right.
Which was like
great.
all the dance crews.
That's right.
We did that for like 3 seasons too.
Yeah, that was before Extra.
We did that 4 seasons. Yeah, it was 4. That was another hosting.
We did like
that wasn't before.
No, we must have done 7.
America's Best Dance Crew was not. It was during Extra, wasn't it?
Well, he did it before. He
no,
started
it was
before.
It was during the week when I was doing the weekend Extra.
Oh,
but then so the last 6 months, this was the crazy. This is the hardest I ever worked in this sense. So the last 3 months of New York, I flew back to L.A. once a week to do Extra once a week from New York, and then I take a red eye, fly and land, take another red eye, land, and then do 2 shows.
Right.
Dude, then you had a cop
every
who took you.
week.
He had a cop.
I had a cop
that
took me, police escort and a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So that was some young shit I pulled off. But like every week flying L.A. to New York, that was a mean one. That was the hardest I ever worked because it was very physical. And then I got real tired. So then it curbed my partying, and then I just chilled from New York. And then I met my wife later on.
Yeah. You met your wife on
my future wife. The last 3 months of the run.
Right. That's amazing.
Yeah. Then I was doing the MTV. Yeah, I know there's other shit I've done. I just forgot. But
top of like pageants and all kinds of other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were doing the what was it? What
Miss
was the pageant?
Miss Universe, all of them. Yeah.
Mahalo.
Hurry up, we got a fight to watch.
All right, no, we're nearing the end here. All right, cool. So I don't want to forget
all the movies you guys did together.
No, I don't. We don't have to mention those, but
we squeezed those in. That was fun too.
Yeah,
I always wanted to.
How many did you guys do together?
2.
2? That's
Yeah,
it.
we did East Side, which was great, and then we did Out of Time. That was not so great.
Out of Time, and he actually played a character that was my name. By the way,
Dave Morales.
Dave
That's
Morales.
right. I did.
That's
That's
right.
right. I did. That's a
You
tight
were a
name.
soccer player. I remember.
I made Morales in the
That's
show right
right,
now.
dude.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And Ashley Garcia.
that's tight.
So
That's right. I was a soccer player.
Yeah,
Cold as ice.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
dude, we
I was
shot.
like, this fool don't know how to play
Dude,
soccer.
we shot.
We got money. You just wanted to do it. You didn't give a shit about the script. You just got money. You
Of
wanted
course,
to do it.
dude. It's
True.
We
But
hooked up all the homies. Hired Juancho.
Everybody.
My dad was in it.
That's where I could do lines.
Cade.
Everybody was in it. Our production office was in your dad's pool house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right there, right.
Actually, the pool table was our
Yeah,
part
right
of
there
our,
at the guest house, the little pool house. Yeah, you
we
remember
had,
that?
We had people with their that was their desk.
Right. Now we're doing it. Now we got another show. We got
Yeah.
another Christmas week.
That was-
Now we got another shit.
That was a lot of
Now
fun.
you got to start reading the shit. You got to start
That's
caring
right.
about
I
what we're
gotta
gonna do.
care. Well,
What it did.
so now, look how funny the full circle is. My wife was on Entertainment Tonight as a senior producer, and then moved and launched Access Hollywood, and now he's hosting Access Hollywood. You've had a pretty remarkable career. You stand at mid-career. You're not done yet. There's lots of great things to do.
sure.
Fuck.
For sure.
You've still got a lot of great things to do yet. Dick Clark was working for a long time.
Got some plan.
Yeah, but
Regis Philbin style.
Yeah.
but
Out there too.
right now you've got a Netflix show that you're executive producing. I'm on there with you, thanks to you. I appreciate that. But it's a great show, the Expanding Universe of Ashley Garcia.
Right.
You've created a very rare show that's got a Latino family in it, a genius Latino little girl, and
Very universal theme, but with a lot of flavor and really well written and happy on a hip, cool streaming service like Netflix. So I'm happy about that.
There's a cool little cast too, man.
Yeah,
Those
cool
guys-
little
cast.
cast.
all of them
Great
are
work.
great.
Yeah,
Maybe
they're
Dave,
great.
you're gonna get in there too, right?
Totally.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's next week.
Yeah.
My
And
man.
then aside from that, we've got our Christmas movie.
We've got a Christmas
Feliz
movie,
Navidad.
Feliz Navidad, which
Great
is
title.
brilliant, great title. Everyone believes that, and the script's great. Peter Marietta wrote it,
And
who
most
did-
important, he's executive producer, Made in Mexico. That's right. Shout
That's
out.
right.
That's
Executive
right.
producer.
That's right.
Of all your accomplishments,
That's
that's
right.
the biggest
Hey,
one.
you didn't put Gil the Monster in that movie, dude?
No,
No,
I
not
tried
in
to.
any
He
of
was
them.
supposed to play Marco Antonio. I used
What
his real
happened to
name.
you?
I
He
don't
said
know. I don't have the
he said,
chops.
He got
I don't-
scared.
I'm not acting, bro.
I'm not good. I'm not good at acting. I can't act.
He strung me along for a couple months, and he's like,
I can't do
I
lines.
saw you do West Side Story. I saw that picture,
yeah.
West Side Story
That's
in
when
high
I
school.
thought I had talent. But no, you're doing amazing work. But I think the key thing for people listening is that it didn't happen overnight.
No,
You know,
obviously
it didn't
not.
happen overnight, and there was lots of years that
Dude, I've
you
been on
had,
it for 30-something years.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
amazing.
long ass time.
you had to make it happen. You had to keep working. You had to keep pushing. You had to save your money. You had to make sure that you had money for the slim times, and you did.
Yeah,
And
and by the way,
eventually
it's
it
not
worked
like
out.
you work any other job. in the real world. You put in 20, 30 years, you're going to have seniority. You're going to have certain benefits.
You retire, pension.
Well, yeah, but you're going to be way ahead of other folks. That's not how the entertainment industry works.
No. Right.
You know, you can put in 30 years and still never get that break.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas some kid comes along, he just moved here from Canada.
Right.
And auditions once, boom, breaks out, whatever. You just don't know, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like the time you put in, you're gonna get it back.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
but
a
he
messed
won't be able
up
to
business
sustain
like
it,
that.
though. You know what I mean? He won't be able to sustain that because he gets it that quick. He doesn't understand the hunger. So it's going to be hard for him to keep it. Whereas somebody who's been in it for so long,
that's where experience pays.
Yeah, that's
no,
where
right.
It all
But no,
comes
but
in.
my point is, like, you know, that person's not guaranteed a shot. You can put in that 10, 20, 30 years, and you can never still get that break.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, and even when you do, you still got to continue to prove yourself, and you still got to continue to kind of be out there.
Well, thank God that things have worked out for you, dude.
Yeah, so far, man. So far, so good. So finally, you know, and now, not just professionally, but, you know, personally, different place, obviously. Now, you know, your family, got kids and stuff, and so you start thinking about, obviously, having to take care of them, which adds a whole nother responsibility. But now, you know, now I feel very blessed with everything's going on. But now I want to focus, too, and I remain hungry and ambitious to want to produce a lot of stuff, tell other stories about other Latinos, work with my friends, work with people I like, do other stuff. And so now it's about that. Now I want to continue to kind of do that.
And I think you could.
So quit fucking around.
Yeah. Hey, but I think, but I think you could. I think you're moving the needle in our business. I think that you can continue to do that, especially with Latino stories. And it matters a lot.
It's
dude.
so important.
It matters a lot.
Yeah.
So I commend you for that, dude. I'm a big fan of yours. You know that. I know we're very good friends, but I am a big fan of what you do and what you've done and how you've hung in there. And you have a beautiful family. You have great friends. You're a very loyal human being. I think that's one of the main things that you could say about you. That if you're listening, I think the key thing is have some loyalty and stick with the people that get you.
Well,
there.
truthfully, this podcast wouldn't be happening without him. Because he allowed us to use his radio studio.
There you go. He's got his
I
fingers
met,
everywhere.
I met your ass through him. That's why.
Dude, there's so many other stories. There's so many other stories we could tell that we don't have time
round
for.
Two then.
Yeah, we'll have to go
We'll
round two.
go round two with some more. And, we'll get into other aspects.
Yeah.
Right now we touched upon the career-wise. Maybe we'll get in depth next time.
You know what he's saying? That he's going to give us time is what he's saying.
Next time we'll have some more drinks.
We'll do it again.
If he doesn't lose his phone for an hour, he lost an hour right there.
Hey, we'll do it again.
Dude, and it was in my car. I can't believe it.
Thank you for being on.
Mario.
Let's get into it, dude. It was a lot of fun, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Into It.
Round one.
Round one.
Yeah, then we can get into. I forgot about a lot of shit, which is crazy.